この世を渡り歩くにはより多くの身分を持った方が便利なの。君にもいくつか作ってあげようか。
Why so late? Man, I am literally asking myself that same question right now. Why so late? Hey, what's up, Ali? How's it going, man? Mr. J, are you referring to me as Mr. No R? Yes, J? Or do you think Sean is Mr. J? I could have I could have started 6 hours ago. Well, okay, it's a bit of an exaggeration. It's a bit of an exaggeration. In this situation, 3 hours ago, like, you know, met me. Oh, all right. Hey, this is gonna be a short stream because as the stuff that Sean's talking about. Yeah, I could have started not 6 hours ago. Okay, it's not that bad, but it's still pretty bad. I could have started like 2 or 3 hours ago. Yes, so you're not helping your case. I mean, like, I'm not trying to, man. I mean, like, I'm just trying to clear up some misinformation. Trying to clear up some misinformation. Like you said, I could have started 6 hours ago, but it's not 6 hours. It's like just 3 hours ago. It's not. I'm not trying to make myself into an angel here, a saint. I'm far from being an angel or a saint. Because I'll be here for about an hour. If I don't yap too much, this stream will probably just be an hour, actually. Yeah, like, I started really late. And yeah, I started really late. I still do have some stuff to do. But it's like it's really just exploration, right? Like 100%ing the Talkpan region, but that takes like 3 or 4 hours, I think, like including yapping. And like since I started really late, obviously I can't do that today. Still don't understand how you can stay up so late because I wake up so late. Like it's same thing. I'm struggling hard. We're trying to get Farina burst. Trying to get Farina up with her signature and no Fav user, single hydro. That's, dude. Like, I don't know how much ER you'd need for that, man. Like, I feel like even 300 might not be enough. What? Does it always do that? Why did it bounce up so high? Uh-oh. Clock hits 12 and I feel 75% dead. Bro, you should count yourself lucky that you feel sleepy at that hour. Because it means you can actually go to bed at a reasonable time. Farina signature is a liability. Farina signature is fine if you have Farina C4. If you have Farina C4. Yeah, it's not worth it until C4. C4 Blaster signature isn't worth. Nilu's signature does even better. Which is dumb. Yep. And they have just let her have some energy in her signature like Janya and Neverland. Honestly, I'm happy that we have plenty of really good characters that are not reliant on their signature weapons. Right? Like think of so yeah, try to imagine yourself, right? Like if Farina's signature was like Jian Yun's signature, or like if Farina's signature was like the fork, or like when I say fork, I'm talking about Escoffier's signature weapon, right? Like just really, really, really strong signature weapons on the character that they're designed for. You would feel so anxious about like skipping them, right? Like you wouldn't just be able to like settle with like Fav on that character, which means more primos into the weapon banner and less primos into the character banner to get more characters. I was a pipe lover. Pipe lover. After running Fab on her for a while, it feels great. I've never used pipe before. Like, I just didn't want to bother doing the fishing for it. I think, doesn't it give, like, way more ER than Fav? But, like, overall energy, I think Fav still gives way more. I think it's just really hard to build. Sorry, not build. I missed that one. To beat the white particles from Fav. Pipe is less ER in stats. Really? But doesn't it have a passive? Like, what's the passive for again? Like, for some reason, I remember its passive, like, gives more ER. I don't remember, actually. I'm not sure. That's what I remember for some reason. It's got her signature, knowing full well how bad it was, because anything for my... Okay. Oh, I forgot Bloom. I got to turn Bloom on. I was like, huh. Why does everything feel like... Why does it feel like summer? Bloom, there you go. Oh no. Fav is is a 7-star weapon family. ER means nothing if you don't get particles. That is true. Yeah, that's why it's so hard to beat Fav. Even like what is a weapon that has more ER than Fav? Oh, like Skyward Sword, for example. Skyward Sword on Bennett, right? Like even though it has more ER. Wait, does it have more ER? No, it doesn't. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, I believe Fav is 61 ER. I saw this Jeff running out of Favs for Onslaught. Used all support on Fav. Definitely needed. That is true. That is true. Thankfully, I'm so stingy that I, like, this whole time, right, like, for the past, like, 4 or 5 years, I've just refused to, like, refine all the weapons that I have. Especially if I truly didn't truly, like, desperately need them all. I made sure to have some, like, extra. Like my Fav Lances, right? I believe I have like one R1 Fav Lance right now. Oh, no. I guess it was on my other account. But yeah, you never know when you're gonna suddenly need like 3 or 4 of a weapon. I'm also at the point now where I'm stuck with getting 1 skill up per week. Nah, that's... Yep. But hey, you know what? Honestly, leveling up a character or weapons is like so much more fun for me than like farming artifacts. What? What was that? Oh, that's BS. Of course, you're going to... Okay. There. Of course, yeah, you know, like, no crit, no vape of all the times to do that. The one time that I actually needed a crit or a vape. He's great. Great character design and boss design. Love it. I see why you hate this boss. Oh, what's wrong? What happened, man? Wait, what is... Oh. What the... Oh my god, this is the stupidest... How'd Mavuika die? And they won't even attack the thing because it's outside of the stupid arena. I'm at the point where I need to stop playing. Where I stopped playing. Well, you told us that last time. Hey, good on you, mate. If you told us that last time and you're still playing, then like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I told you once to stay in the black thing on the ground for too long. It deals like 70% of your HP. Black thing on the ground. I'm assuming like the ground that looks like it's burnt up or something. Which is like what? 90% of the ground that's where the enemy is at. AKA, screw you if you want to do damage to this boss. I don't know, for once, Skirk couldn't burn through something. So yeah, it was annoying. Yep. And you know what? The worst part about it too is it's because it's one of the newer bosses. So it's going to be a while before I actually stop farming this stupid thing. So like, we get like three like 50% off weekly boss farming sessions a week. So I use up all three every week. I use up all three every week, and I usually do the newest three. Thankfully, though, it's not the newest anymore. So at least like at this point, I'm like, so once we get the next weekly boss, like I'll stop farming. I'll stop farming the Fontaine weekly boss, the Arlecchino weekly boss, and then we get one more weekly boss after that. I'll finally stop farming this stupid worthless thing. I don't get the deal with that fight. Like, sorry, fighting this thing. What do you mean by you don't get the deal? Like, to me, it just like sure, I could probably actually learn how the boss works. Like, I could spend like what 5-10 minutes looking up a video on YouTube that explains like what to do if this happens, what to do if that happens, what not to do, what to do here, what not to do here, etc., etc. I could do that, but why is it just not like clear in the game? Right? Like the new weekly boss is it's really clear what happens and what doesn't happen. Its OE is so huge and it's so hard. I don't want to just Zhongli everything. Exactly, right? I don't want to just Zhongli everything. And you know what? Okay. So something. I think it was Nash that I was talking to on Discord. Like I, I went on Discord. I don't remember what I was. I think I was just randomly asking like if anyone was having problems with like this specific Windows update that keeps like trying to install itself, and then like every time I accidentally like install it, what happens is like my taskbar suddenly becomes sluggish, and I've actually like installed and uninstalled this thing. I think like 4 or 5 times by now, just because it's just broken. This stupid update is just broken. I don't remember what like KB number it was. I don't remember what KB number it was. Oh, hang on. Do I need to 6 hours? 6 hours. Okay. No need to condense. Well, I guess I. I guess I can condense 2 more. Yeah, I guess I can condense 2 more. Alright, well, let's go to Liyue first. So, I don't know how we got to this point in our conversation, but like, I mentioned, at some point I mentioned that I wished that we could turn off 5-star burst animations. Like obviously like like just it will still happen, but just turn off the camera lock. Right? Just don't force the camera perspective to like whatever they set it at for the 5-star burst animation. Just let it just let the animation happen, but like keep the camera where I pointed it at. And like and I never really gave it some like any thought as to like why I've only started feeling annoyed by 5-star burst animations recently, and why not 2 years ago? Why not 3 years ago or 4 years ago? Like I've only started to become annoyed with it in the last like maybe year, in the last like year or so. And I like as me and I think I'm not sure if it was Nash, but I'm pretty sure it was Nash. As me and Nash were chatting up on Discord, I gave it some thought, and then I realized. So apparently it's I've only started to feel like this about it for the past year or so because enemies have been starting to hit really hard, which is fine. I don't mind enemies hitting hard. In fact, like, because like from what I remember, there were like a bunch of things that Hoyo did to try and just get people to stop Zhongliing everything. Right, to basically just stop using Zhongli to just turn damage off. Like in the with the dual, like the double Vishap boss in Enkanomiya, for example, it has a couple of attacks that bypass shields. There's corrosion from like Rift Hounds, and yeah, nowadays there's like whatever that stupid mechanic is, like that weekly boss in the weekly boss in Natlan does, where it just like it hits you. Okay, it does damage, but it puts a mark on you, and then like if you're standing on like a specific piece of ground, then like you just like you die, right? It deals like a huge amount of damage. So I don't mind stuff like that, but the thing is, like, when we use a 5-star burst animation, your camera is locked into whatever angle they set it to. Usually it's like right in front of the character, and usually it's like blocked by like some kind of like backdrop or whatever it is, or like all the SFX and stuff that's going on while like your other stuff is going on, your off-field abilities, the burst animation itself, the SFX from the burst animation itself, which means like while you're in your burst animation, you can't see anything. You don't know if a big attack is about to drop as soon as you get out of your burst animation. No, and like, okay, fine, the burst animation has iframes, but what about right after, like the first like 0.5 seconds after a burst animation finishes? Right? Like you have no time to react to a hit. If a hit was actually just dropping at the exact moment you get out of your burst iframes are gone. Want to co-op with me, please? Sup, Tolga? How's it going, man? What do you need, man? Two episodes of Lord of the Mysteries is stopped already. At the Institute, go to the admin of our official group. Has an anime profile picture. Sorry, what? What is this about? Skirk getting interrupted is also getting a little vexing. Skirk getting interrupted? You know, that hardly... I don't think I've ever had my Skirk interrupted. Well, I guess like I do usually... Well, okay, like the thing is it's like it's a freeze team, right? So unless you're fighting a boss, then obviously you can't freeze a boss. But usually I just sort of dodge. I just dodge on Skirk, and I understand like dodging on Skirk is such a DPS like loss every time you dash to dodge an attack. But I don't care. Like I don't dodge every attack though. I just dodge like attacks that I know are like big, like really big hits, or like if it's like an emergency, if I'm sure that a hit is going to kill me. I don't dodge every attack, but I don't remember ever getting interrupted on Skirk. I do know that her interruption resistance isn't as good as Raiden Shogun's. Some characters lose their immunity frames before the animations. What? Oh my god. What? Really? That is bull. Is what that is. I can't dodge anymore. too used to Wuwa ZZZ. The dodging there is so weird. Really? What's the difference? Fischl's a prime example. Oh yeah, I mean like okay, like she's a 4-star, so like she's fine at least. Like, and it's fair because like Fischl's burst, you're not locked into anything. At least like Fischl's burst, you're not locked, right? You're not locked into anything. You're not locked into like standing still, the exact position where you were when you pressed Q. Your camera angle isn't locked. Like you can move around while you have 0 iframes, right? You have 0 iframes. Actually, like Fischl burst has 0 iframes. But at least you can move around. So I feel like it's fair that Fischl burst doesn't have any iframes. There's no perfect dodge in this game. In Genshin, you mean? Just makes my brain lag a little. Sorry, in which game? In Genshin? What do you mean by there's no quote-unquote perfect dodge? Oh, like okay, I actually don't know if this is a thing, but like in Honkai Impact 3rd, from what I remember, from like the half hour I played it, there's actually like a way to dodge attacks there. And it's actually really satisfying to dodge attacks in that game. Cause like it plays it in slow motion so that you can like fully appreciate like the quote unquote amazing dodge that you just pulled off. Is it like that? Are ZZZ and Wuwa kind of like that? There's also another character. It's just only I remember. Yeah, it's just only I remember Fischl. Man, if there's like a 5-star, that is what you said. Oh hey, what's up, Mighty? How's it going, man? If there's a 5-star that is like what you said, where like their iframes end before their burst animation, like, dude, that is like just a design fail, is what that is. Seeing you play Skirk makes me angry. It's a 13-second fight. What is there to optimize? Also, I've found that using the special burst as soon as you press E, like going EQ on Skirk is it's slightly less optimal than doing E and then like what is it, N5 I think, like doing her one full attack string and then like pressing Q immediately to cancel the N lag. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm done on this account. Yep, okay, we're done. Oh, hang on. No, the shop hasn't reset yet. Okay. Yeah, no reset yet. By the way, RJ, when I found... Oh, sorry, hang on. When I find Saw, I guess you mean when I saw the drip marketing? Okay, I think the character was AI generated. Really? Ineffa? Yeah, right, because like, she's so... She like, dude, Ineffa looks like she just doesn't belong in Genshin. She just straight up looks like she's from another game of a different genre. Not about optimization. By the way, Onslaught is the only way you should be farming artifacts now, right? Yeah. Only until like it's over the thing. I believe it's like the first 10 days or something. Yeah, this thing, disturbance outbreak. Only while this thing is up. Otherwise, yeah. Paying less attention to what I'm writing at this point. Let me write with my mind. Ms. RJ, you know how we have a boss for freeze now that needs Skirk. Next rotation has an electro charge boss. I wonder why. Oh man, I wonder why. Sometimes I wonder why there are so many leaks about this game. Other games don't seem to have this problem. You know, okay. Hey. Think about this. You know how like Google seems to Google, despite the Google Pixel not being like I mean, like, sure, it's a popular-ish mobile device, right? Like, it's a popular-ish Android phone. But like, dude, I highly doubt it's anywhere close to how popular say the Samsung Galaxy series of phones is. But like the Google Pixel somehow manages to like get its stuff leaked so early. Like so much, like not every time, but somewhat often. And I'm pretty sure it's just Google themselves pretending that, oh no, this our new phone leaked. It's like an easy way for them to It's like an easy way for them to see like what the public opinion is on like the current design or whatever. Okay, there. Honestly, I don't mind this boss. Like, I find it annoying sometimes, but like, especially because like there's so much SFX going on with this boss, and I just wish that it was a little better. That there isn't like as much SFX going on, because like I just cannot see what's happening, especially when I like have full settings on. When I have full settings on, I can hardly see anything. Like I can hardly see like if the king or the queen or whoever they're like winding up for attacks and stuff. It's just so hard to tell. But I don't mind it. Like this boss is so much more tolerable than the stupid Natlan Dragon Weekly boss. You know how like we keep getting like surveys and stuff for stuff about the game? I wish that they would no, you know what? I think I'm pretty sure Hoyo probably has had already included the Natlan Dragon Weekly boss in a survey at some point in the past. I probably just like gave it a whatever answer. Yeah, I wish that they would include it again. just so I could share how much of a stupid piece of garbage that weekly boss is. People create leak, quote unquote, leak videos to clickbait children, and real leakers are probably just excited. Leak videos to clickbait children. Yep, that is a thing that happens on the internet. Exactly. Oops, I dropped my pencil. I hope no one's looking at my huge personality. This is how Hey, what's up, Blue App? How's it going, man? Glad Skirk can burn through that boss. Which boss? Oh, yeah. The... You know, that is, like, by design-wise, that is one of my favorite weekly bosses. Aesthetically. Like, I don't know why. I just think it's so cool. The king and the queen looks so cool. Like, my favorite part really is just the... like, that final, like, last 1 or 2 seconds in the, like, cutscene, in the pre-rendered cutscene, on its way from phase 1 to phase 2. It just looks so cool. Bro's gonna make the whole survey team read a whole college thesis on why he hates that boss. No, I'm just gonna say this boss is stupid. Whoever designed it sucks. Whoever designed it is a fake gamer. It's not really a gamer. Doesn't actually play video games. Can I use Skirk against this boss? No, I probably don't want to. At the very least, like, Neuvillette can hit it, like, when it's like hiding away out in space. Yeah, I probably don't want to use Skirk. I got hit, even though Kazuha was in mid-air. Oh, my orbs expired. Garbage weekly boss. I broke your stuff before the stupid, like, timer on it expired, whatever. Why won't you go down? Yeah, of course. Brilliant. Okay, great. You are floating in space where the boss fight isn't at. Brilliant. Okay, great. Right, sure. Let's just not have a stupid fight then. Piece of boss. I love this boss. school tomorrow. Oh, all right, all right. Hey, take care, man. Take care, man. Thanks for stopping by, Sean. Great. Just hide somewhere. And you know, another thing I hate about the boss is like I have no idea which part of it I can hit and which part I can't hit. Like there, it was like lying down. I was targeting its head, but the damage was coming out of its like tail somewhere. Right, so I'm like, okay, sure, there is damage coming out, but like, am I supposed to be hitting the head? Like, right? Is it a hitbox? Is the head a hitbox or like? But okay, like what if the boss is like moving around or whatever? Like, am I allowed to hit the head still? You know, I wonder why Stygian doesn't have a thing here. They have theater here, they have abyss here. Like, I guess I understand that it would get really, really cluttered. Because, like, if they added a thing here for Stygian, like, and it's about as big as, like, theaters and abysses, it would be, like, this long. And then resin would be, like, here. And I guess, like, that would make it look really, really cluttered. It's the best theme ever, and it's a dragon. Is also actually hard. Too bad he has one moment where it's BS. Moment where you get damage over time and can't dodge it. Wait, really? When does that happen? Is this clickbait? I thought this guy was playing on advanced server? Beta? No, from what I remember, you're not allowed to like publish any footage from beta. At least not in Genshin. Also, dude, Ineffa's drip marketing has already been officially released. Like, dude, I straight up like the picture, the thumbnail I have here. That's wait, where did I get that from? It is from it's like it's from like actual like official stuff. Like from straight up from either it was Hoyolab. I don't remember. Oh no, not Hoyolab. It was like shoot, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember, but it's like straight up from Hoyo. Somewhere, like either Hoyolab, like their post on Hoyolab about Ineffa, or it was like at Genshin.Hoyoverse, like news, whatever. Yeah, it's not just fan art. It's not like a leak. It's like straight up from Hoyo. And even if you go to Genshin's Hoyo, or sorry, what? Genshin's Hoyo. Hoyo's Genshin's like official Twitter page. They already drip marketed Ineffa like a week ago, I think. You know when he summons the 3 orbs, you get damage over time if you're not planning on destroying it. Yeah, right? That's true, You can't even hit him. You can't do anything to him. Like, the only thing you can do is, like, do what the game tells you to do, which is, well, hey, destroy the orbs. But yeah, no, like, the whole time, like, you're going to take damage. You're just going to take damage, and you're not allowed to get out of this circle that I've artificially locked you into. It's just so stupid, that weekly boss. Show Ineffa. How do I show a character that hasn't been released yet? They drip marketed her though. That's where I got that picture from. Title doesn't say Ineffa is out, Ineffa is released, or Ineffa is here. No, it just says Ineffa. Doesn't even say version number. Just says Ineffa Genshin Impact. The Genshin community doesn't read, RJ. That's... Man. The truth really is funny, huh? Yeah, it's actually the last, I think it was like a day ago. I think, yeah, no. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, last night I went on Facebook for a bit to check and see if my local power company has announced some kind of like scheduled blackout or something. And so right before I was able to get to their page, I saw like a post, like some random dude's post in one of the Genshin communities that I apparently joined like at some point, sometime in the last, like, I don't know, I don't even remember if that I joined it. And it was just a dude asking, like, it was like a couple of pictures, like screenshots of his Skirk artifacts. Well, the artifacts that he was already using on Skirk and the artifacts that he was planning to put on Skirk. And it's like all kinds of wrong. Like, he definitely knew to pick, sorry, not to pick, to like save crit rate and crit damage on the substats. But like the guy was like on an attack percent stance, okay, which was fine. I was like, okay, looks like this guy knows what he's doing. He's just like, maybe he's just asking if his artifacts are good enough for him to spend artifact fodder on it to like actually level it up. And then I kept like pressing right, like the right key on Facebook to like move pictures. And then I noticed like, oh, a crit rate on the substats on the goblet. And I looked at the main stat and it said physical damage. It said physical damage. I was like, oh boy. Or all right, okay, I guess like here we go. And then I pressed one more time. I pressed the right key one more time to move to the next picture, and circlet was I think it was like defense percent or something. And it didn't even have crit rate or crit damage on it. I don't know why. This guy's just like me. But yeah, so he was legitimately asking um like what to do with his Skirk artifacts. And at the very least though, like the guy knew that I can never remember this artifact set's name. Galleries something. Finale of the Deep Galleries. Yeah, Finale of the Deep Galleries. At the very least, like he was actually like he took screenshots of that set, of pieces of that set. So at the very least, like he knew that that was Skirk's artifact set. So he had that going for him. But other than that, like he had nothing else going for him. So I just at that point I just like I saw that, and then like earlier today I saw another guy asking what was it? Like his question wasn't like he was using terminology, like commonly used terminology, like I believe it was like it was like what is a good team rotation on Raiden Shogun to get envisaged echoes? And it was like, okay, first half of that question, it was like, okay, well, this guy seems to just be asking for like an optimal rotation or something. And then I read, I read to get envisaged echoes, and I was like, what? Huh? What? Isn't envisaged echoes like? Isn't that like that's the effect thing, like the SFX thing that this thing that you get. Like, and it's like it's an aesthetic thing. I was like, so what is this guy talking about? Because he said team rotation, and like, isn't envisaged echo fights like solo? There's literally no team in there. So I like at that point, I was like, what the heck is this guy asking? And then he mentions, he mentions, I'm not very familiar with the Raiden Shogun's playstyle yet. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. Like, just generic answer. Gave him a rotation, just straight up. Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. J? How you doing, man? Yeah, I just told him, like, okay, Raiden E, rotate through other characters, Raiden Burst, and then, like, NA3, NA3C, 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 and then C, like, charged attack, and then Raiden E, and then repeat. And that made me think, man, there certainly are a lot of Genshin players that do not do YouTube. Like they just don't watch YouTube. And I guess I get it. I get it. Like especially so here in the Philippines, um here in the Philippines, like so many, like a big chunk, a huge majority of Filipinos do not have a postpaid plan. Usually we do prepaid because prepaid, like we don't always call people or text people. In fact, in fact I think most people don't I think most people don't spend no I think most people have more days where in a year where they don't need to call or text anyone than the number of days that they do need to call or text anyone. And so yeah, that's why like that's one of the many reasons why people here in the Philippines prefer a prepaid plan, because they only spend money to get minutes of calls, or like maybe unlimited calls or unlimited texts or whatever, for whenever they do need to call or text someone. And usually those temporary like prepaid plans, they're usually like a day long or 3 days long or a week long, sometimes 15 days long, and they almost always come with a bit of data. And on top of that, on top of like straight up consumable data, it almost always comes with like very specific, like unlimited Facebook, unlimited Messenger, or like 2 gigabytes of YouTube every day or something like that. And most of the time, Facebook is just straight up like unlimited Facebook, right? Like you get like 3 days of like unlimited calls, unlimited texts, and then you also get unlimited Facebook. Unlimited Facebook, whether it's video, it's audio or picture, or just text, like text posts, everything. It's just completely free. If it's Facebook and or Messenger, it's completely free, and there's not like a cap on it every day. No, it's just like unlimited. And most of the time it's Facebook. Like the YouTube and like other stuff, like some like streaming sites or whatever. Usually it's like a gigabyte per day. But those are usually included in plans that are a little more on the expensive side. Like the unlimited Facebook ones are in almost every single prepaid. No, sorry, like short-term prepaid plan. So, and I guess like I guess I understand like why, especially here in the Philippines, there aren't that many Genshin players that watch YouTube, because like it's so as long as you have Wi-Fi, like it's, and you actually like watch YouTube stuff, it is just so easy to find the information that you need, like in Genshin, about Genshin, like anything Genshin. Yeah, run 600 EM and 200 ER and you win. 200 ER? Why do you need ER? About to go hang by the river. How's you? Okay, I understand how's you. Go hang by the river. I think I can surmise what that means. But hey, actually that sounds pretty cool. Hanging out by the river. That's pretty chill, man. That's pretty chill. I'm okay though. I'm okay. Thanks for asking. I wish I could have started the stream 2 hours earlier, but I didn't, because it's me. So this is gonna be a rather short stream. Never actually built Raiden with crit. I'm curious. Unlimited. I can finally watch illegal stuff without eating 2 months. 2 MO the day. Huh? What? Oh, MB. 2 MB per day. For me, I hardly ever. Oh my god! I pressed E as soon as the guy jumped. I did not get any particles at all for that. What's his name? Dahlia E. Thank goodness his skill cooldown is pretty short. Oh god, okay. Jeez. That was close. I forgot people say megabytes. We say here mega octet. What? What the heck is a mega octet? What is an octet? Meant to say I'm gonna go spend the evening. Heat is melting me. Oh my god. Meanwhile over here, it's actually pretty nice recently. It's, well, I mean, like, I guess not all people are gonna appreciate this kind of weather, but like I love this kind of weather that's going on right now. Anyway, it's been really like nice, cloudy, and like not necessarily like rainy. We get like an hour or two of rain a day, but it's like really, really like a lot of rain. And I love it. Mind you though, like it's still not cold despite the rain. It's still not cold because of the humidity. The heck is that? Okay. Not drunk, contrary to popular belief. Hey, it's actually kind of refreshing to hear that you're not drunk, man. Summer rain's the best. We had one stormy day, and the rest was like straight up just. Really, man, that sucks. What is an octave? Hang on, I'm gonna Google this. Octave. Okay, I just Googled octave and it just came up with town in Chile. Like Chile, the country. Puerto Octave. Let's see. Okay, mega octave. There's nothing coming up. What the heck is octave? Just because I like to drink doesn't mean I'm always wasted. Yeah, but like, it feels so good to be, well, not wasted, but just a little tipsy. It just feels so nice to be just tipsy all the time. I wish I could be tipsy all the time. You know, like without having to just to drink for it. It's like, dude, I'm like stupidly introverted. And I just like being tipsy because I'm not. I actually am like a human being when I'm tipsy. I actually talk to people. You guys can drink? I don't even know the taste. I mean, I can. But I don't drink anymore because... Well, I just think it's a... Well, for me, anyway. For me, it's just a waste of money and time. Because, like, to drink, I have to... Well, obviously I have to buy it. And I have to spend time, well, drinking. Oops. And I have to spend time waiting for myself to recover from being drunk. Just because I'm an alcoholic doesn't mean I'm always wasted. Y'all can F off with that for real. Oh, do I have the thing? I do. Okay. What the? Oh, okay, it's this attack. And Nivelet died for no reason. I was in the hit range of that thing. Well, I guess I was pretty close. Oh wow, very surprising. I was actually able to hit the stupid thing, even though it was like off in the distance a little bit. Oh, brilliant. Screw this stupid boss. I actually suck at dodging this boss because like I suck at dodging this boss because I just don't know what is like a hit that I should dodge about it. So they're okay, right? Like okay, yeah, like right, like the sword swings, like they're so wide, and just I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like for example, okay, when the fight starts, he sometimes starts off by like firing orbs at you, and it's like 4 or 5 orbs going like zoom, 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 and like they fly really fast that you can't actually like you can't. Like you can only spam dash twice in a row. You can't spam dash. Okay, let's see. Does he do? Yeah, this one. Right? Like where are you supposed to go? Okay, and then there's okay, sure, there's this one where it's like the entire arena, and like okay, so, all right. I learned these moves in 5 attempts. After that, it's just Dark Souls. It's just my Dark Souls brain taking over. Jeez. Piece of garbage, boss. Honestly, no idea how you're supposed to just like it's not the hardest fight in the whole game. But it just doesn't like none of it makes sense. The what's it called? The pyro dragon? No, what is it called? Lava statue? Is that what it's called? Yeah. The lava dragon statue. honestly, for me, is a harder fight. Although not hard because like its attack patterns are hard, but it's just hard because like the stupid pyro shield, or no, like the incredibly high resistances, and you have like you're extremely like team restricted because of it. If I truly don't want to fight him, I'll bring Chaska to cheese him. What does Chaska do? Of course you're gonna hide like a pussy cat. I just don't want to bother dealing with his stupid attacks. And okay, so there, right? Like that attack. So the SFX, right? Like the entire ground in front of me is just completely engulfed in flames. But I'm pretty sure that the whole, not the whole part that's like pyroed, like not the whole ground that's pyroed is actually like where you get hit. And it's just so unclear what you are able to iframe and what you're not able to iframe. Especially recently, like for example, the chess boss, the chess weekly boss in Mondstadt, it has a few big hit attacks that used to be, right? Like used to be like big weekly bosses or like even world bosses that do big hits like that. Usually like weren't iframeable back then. But recently, world bosses, weekly bosses have been getting like attacks that are iframeable, and it's such a, I don't know, it's such like it's just so inconsistent is the problem. They just do like they just make up the rules based on what they feel like. Like here, for example, there's like stuff pelting on the ground, right? And there's like abyss, either abyss or like pyroed ground. But like not the whole ground that's like abyss or pyroed is actually like the hit box. It's just a portion of it. So it's just unclear. Like, okay, where am I allowed to stand and where am I not allowed to stand? It's just so inconsistent. Are different teams? I don't know. I mean, like, sure, I could, but the Nebula team is really just the most comfortable team that I have available on this account to deal with that thing. Casca does a lot of Natlin damage that breaks the shield. And her uptime is 4 seconds. Can also flee at any time, use her worthless. And use her worthless out to bypass. What? Use Use her worthless out to bypass the one shot. What? Chaska doesn't take damage from the Abyss group damage. The Abyss group damage? What? Not your problem. You're trying to fight him fast. That's only gonna work if you do billion damage or luck. What do you mean by I'm trying to fight him fast? Yeah, like that's the thing though, is like I just want the fight to be over. I don't want to have to deal with this stupid mechanics. Worthless ult, because her ult doesn't do damage and ground ground damage, okay. Because again, like my biggest problem is just like it's just so unclear, like which of his attacks. Oh, sorry, no, not which of his attacks. Like for example, again, like the SFX in a lot of his attacks look so much bigger than they actually are. How many accounts do you have? And he has so many attacks that are just seem like undodgeable. Like again, the very beginning of the fight. So he has a couple of different attacks that he can do at the very beginning of the fight as you're like running towards him. Right? Like the one that I hate the most is the one where he just throws orbs at you, like a bunch of orbs at you. There just doesn't seem to be like a way to like, what, we can't dodge that. It's like 4 or 5 orbs that just, and the like their visuals are so big that like I don't know if, so I'm sure like not the whole orb itself, not the whole sphere itself is the hitbox. It's probably like a smaller sphere inside the sphere that you see. But then again, because it's like it's different from what you see, the actual hitbox itself is different from what you see. Then again, it's unclear. It's unclear what you're supposed to dodge and what you should dodge and what you're allowed to dodge and what you shouldn't have to dodge. Oops, I pressed Q a little early. How many accounts do you have? I have 3 of my own. Yeah, I have 3 of my own, all in the NA server. My first account has a sort of built Asia account on it, attached to it, but I hardly ever log into it. I usually log into it when there's like an event that is like easy to do without even without built characters. It does have built characters, but like not very well built because like I just don't want to farm on that account. I don't want to farm any like overworld materials. I don't want to farm yeah, just anything that takes a lot of time. So that's why like none of the characters there are past level 80. No, I think no, I think 70. Yeah, actually 70. None of the characters there are past level 70. No, don't brute force him. Only take more time. You have to attack at the right time. Okay. So when is the right time? You can dodge those with Zelonin or any not-on characters. So I just use Zelonin like I skate. No, I sprint skate. Like I just run fast enough. Okay. You know, the Onslaught UI is, in my opinion, it's terrible. Their UI is so inefficient. It's just not very. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not intuitive. It's not very intuitive. Like, okay, here, right? Like, there's a start button, but like when you do a domain, when you click start, right? Okay, let's go over to a domain. When you click start, it doesn't like take you to like a loading thing just yet, right? It doesn't take you to a loading screen. When you click start, it takes you to a team picking thing. Like there. Right? Where you set your team. And again, it's a very similar UI, right? It's a very, again, oh my god, it's consistency again. It's a consistency problem again. Right? You're accustomed to like a domain interface, and it looks exactly the same. You see resin, right? Like you have match, you have start, and then usually, okay, you click start, you pick your team, you make your team, right? But in here, it doesn't. It takes you to a loading screen. Learn the moves and get good. He's truly not that hard. I mean, he really isn't that hard. He's just inconsistent. That's my problem with it. It's just very inconsistent. Like, okay, here, right? Okay, sure. Other UI stuff. Oh, boss information. All right, I'll click start. Oh, okay. I guess I could pick the difficulty here. All right, I'll click start. Okay. I guess it's a loading screen. And now I'm in here. Where do I pick my team? Right? And like, so in previous, I guess, content, right? Like in events, in Abyss, in theater. Okay, I guess theater is the different one. Yeah, theater is a little more similar to this, because like in theater, it just like you start a fight and then it takes you to like a thing, like an arena, and then you walk up to the key, you interact with the key, and then that's where you pick the teams, right? So I get that, but then theater is also a completely different, like you have a lineup of characters that you're allowed to use, so it makes sense over there. But here, you're allowed to use all the characters that you have on your account. And again, there's a start button here. Usually when you're a domain, when you click start, you get to pick the teams. And then, okay, cool. Like it's slightly, maybe, or it's slightly similar to Abyss, that you see your characters here. But then in Abyss, you also have like the list of characters just straight up on the left here. Right? And here, like, okay, where are my characters? Do I get that? Do I get to pick my characters after I click start? And then no, like there's apparently like you have to click it. Right? It's just so inconsistent. It's just not intuitive at all. It sucks. The UI sucks. Like there's so many different layers that don't need to be there. Another gripe I have about it too is like this arrow thing that they have. It's so unclear that is like the arrow that's supposed to be an indicator, that over here, like obviously you could see what boss you're looking at, right? Like you could see that, oh, okay, this team is to deal with this boss, this team is to deal with this boss, and then if I click start, I'm fighting this boss. But it's just so unclear like which one you have selected over here, because because that means you have to actually be like very familiar with the like what I guess profile pictures of the bosses, to know like which one of them is which. Because like, okay, for example, let's say you don't care about that stuff. You don't ever pay attention to like boss profile pictures. In the overworld, you just know where that boss is. You just know that, okay, I need to farm this boss for essential materials for a specific character, and like, okay, this boss is over here on the map. So I know exactly that that is the Tulpa boss. But that doesn't mean that I actually spend like a half second to think about, oh, okay, this is the Tulpa profile picture image. Like, no, I know where it is in the overworld, and there's a boss there. I click on it, I teleport to the closest waypoint. It's just really unintuitive. Oh, I believe I'm done. Inconsistent is what every boss outside of Genshin is. Is just a variety gamer. If you ever played one of my favorites, probably suffer. No, my problem, I don't care. Like I don't mind like challenging challenges like in video games. It's just that everything else in Genshin is, I don't know how to explain it, man. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's just inconsistent. It doesn't feel the same as all the other fights in the game. Cuz like if I play like what's that super hard game from like last year? I don't think it was Dark Souls. Like no, not Dark Souls. It had a very similar aesthetic to Dark Souls. Give it a couple of years. I mean, patches. Hoyo will fix it. Whatever, man. Hoyo fix it? Yeah. Sure. They haven't even fixed the loadout system. The loadout system that they apparently added to, that they think they added to the game. Loadout system. So I'm trying to tell you, man, don't fight him as a Genshin boss. Fight him as an Elden Ring mini boss. Oh, Elden Ring. I think that's it. Elden Ring. Hang on. Look up pictures of it. Oh yeah, Elden Ring. Elden Ring. Okay. Don't fight him as a Genshin boss. Fight him as an Elden Ring boss. Yeah, but like at least like okay, I don't know. I have never played Elden Ring. Okay, I don't know if there are like certain like elements or whatever that you can bring or you shouldn't bring to certain boss fights or whatever. Over there, but like in Genshin, so it's a gacha game, so they have to sell you characters, right? Like okay, aka like okay, for example, this boss. Well, you know, at the very like okay, you know what? That's a terrible example because like this is rather a flexible boss. You do have like certain requirements for it, like to keep it from doing like the one hit attack, the guaranteed one hit one kill attack in phase 2. But otherwise, you can actually just fight this boss using like whatever characters you have. What is the lava dragon statue? Yeah, the lava dragon statue. So it doesn't require one specific character, but the kind like okay, its mechanic is like it's like you need to do burning on it to get rid of its like incredibly high resistances, right? And like though there's literally like one actually usable burning team in the whole game, and that's with Kinich and or Emilie. So if you don't have said characters, now you have no choice but to put together a suboptimal team. And okay, while the Natlan Dragon Weekly boss doesn't have a What terminology should I come up with to like to, I guess, to mention? I guess restriction? No, not it's not a restriction. Necessity. Like there are no specific characters that you are highly incentivized to play to fight against this boss specifically, but you are highly incentivized to use Natlan characters, of which I hardly have any of, to break the shield stuff. Abzalonin, right? I press E, and since the abyssal shield stuff, like normally on Zalonin, you press E and you do one normal attack, it fills up her phlogiston. I don't know what bar it is, like her bar thing, right? But when you're hitting the abyssal shields, it doesn't increase that. So my default E duration is what I have, which is not enough. Which is not enough time for me to skate to one of the things that have abyssal shields on it that I have to break. I have enough time to go to 2 of them, but not all 3. Did something what? Hey, they did something in 5 years, so who knows? Well, they did something in 5 years. They did something. Whether that something was good or bad, still... No. That's not great. The boss can bleed. Make a bleed build? What the heck's a bleed build? Most bosses can be frostbit. Oh, Elden Ring, I'm assuming. Madness only works on PvP, and few human enemies, poison or scarlet rot can be used on everything. Death blight only PvP. Up. Kinich. I wonder how Kinich would fight that thing. So, like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen footage of anyone using Kinich to fight the weekly, not the Natlan Dragon weekly boss. Where would it even attach to? Because, like, that thing just moves around a lot. Yeah, it moves around. Well, not as much as, like, the Wee Nut boss or, like, the Ruin Serpent. But what happens, like, when it moves position? Like, when it moves to out of bounds and you attach to it, you attach to it while it was still in the arena. And it would actually do good. Well, let's try it. How long has this stream been going? An hour and a half. Okay, that's a little awkward. Yeah, that's a little bit too short. That's a little bit awkwardly short. So, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit. Okay, do I even have a Kinich team put together here? Huh, apparently I do. That is not the polearm I would prefer you have. Oops. Deepwood. Okay. Wait, Deepwood... What, HP? What? Have him on HP and he's still only at 23k? Wow, dude. Toma is not tanky. My god, why did I level his talents? Oh, I guess for shield strength? Oh my god, I spent so much resin on him. I don't even use him. What's up, Gomes? How's it going, man? Oh, we're gonna use Yansan. Farina, why did I put Farina here? Is there a reason why I put Farina here? Play Honkai Star Rail? No, I don't like turn-based games. Why did I put Farina here? What's actually a good team for this? Oh, no, obviously not Zelonin. What is a good team? Kanich? Oh, Nahida. I'm an idiot. Okay. I guess that's right. Rock Fab Lance. There we go. Fab Lance. Still not enough. Okay, get another Fab Lance proc. Okay, here we go. Wow, brilliant. Can I see that thing? That actually went pretty quickly. It's so awkward. Like it just feels so tight in there. It feels like I have no place to like circulate. Okay, I'm okay. Wow, oh my god, that is so weird. I can't even. It's this thing is so far that his like Kenich's thing detaches. This is so awkward. It didn't auto attach because he was on the way to like disappearing, like vanishing. Kinich feels so awkward to fight that boss, man. It's like his usual like Spider-Man thing that attaches to a boss. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't work. I mean, like, sure it does, I guess, but it's just, I don't know. It's just broken. It doesn't work on that thing. I'll send you a fan art of my 2 favorite Elden Ring characters. Can you believe I haven't sent you something in 7 months? Sent. Wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, you mean on Discord? What even is a team that I could put together for this thing? Kino. You know, I guess one nice thing that I do like about this boss is it doesn't have. It's not like a. It's not like a multi-phase boss. Like as long as you have enough damage, you can actually just kill it like as soon as you can. You can just rush the boss. It's not like a lot of the world bosses that have come out in the last like 2 or 3 years, where all of them, basically all of them have 2 or at least 2 phases. Where like even if you overkill the boss by like 5 times with how much damage you're doing, you're still just, you know, like the game just decides like, okay, well, this fight isn't finished. We're gonna show you a cutscene so that we could take you to another boss fight. At least like this boss is just straightforward. Like as long as you have enough DPS, you can just rush the boss and you're done. Both witches. One's a doll, demigod, princess of the moon. The second is a character, spider lady. Both witches. Sorry, mate. I'm not very familiar with Elden Ring characters. But I'm assuming that there are only 2 witches in the game? Since you said both witches? It's so weird. I have no idea, like, what... Okay, you know what? We're gonna try... We're gonna try a Skirk team. Skirk is, like, fully melee. I'm having... Like, I am pretty sure this is gonna be a really awkward fight. Okay, Ali lied to me. He said that if I stand on this thing, I'll take like 70% damage up to like 70% of my HP. I wasn't stood on it, and Dahlia died. He's not here though, so he's not here to contest this. But Ali said that earlier. That if I'm stood on the abyss ground, the piece of ground that has abyss on it, that I would take around 70% of my HP in damage. And like that, so that clearly was a lie, because the damage thing, the sudden like huge chunk of HP damage that you take, is something that happens a few seconds after you get marked. That being said, that is a lot of damage. True. You always want to dodge the abyss. I mean, you do, because you take damage over time when you're stood up on it. But what he said was that what he said specifically was that I would take around 70% of my HP and damage if I'm stood on the thing. If I'm stood on the abyss piece of ground. But even though, like just now, even though I wasn't standing on it, I still took the... I don't believe that. You don't believe what? What else is there? Oh, how about Chlorinde? Okay, let's give Chlorinde a try. Oh, I should have Okay, there. That's another piece of inconsistency. Right there. That attack, like the wide like pan, or no, I don't know what to call it. The wide like sword swipe, right? It doesn't pyro the ground near it. It pyros the ground like a certain distance away from itself. And the swipe, like the swipe that has like the spark on the ground that shows what piece of ground it's swiping on, it isn't anywhere near itself. So it kind of makes you think that, oh, okay, like I guess the ground here closer to it is like free range. It's free range, right? So I don't have to actually dodge this attack. And that's why you hardly see me dodge any of its attacks. Because it's just so unclear which attacks you're supposed to dodge, which attacks you can afford to just not dodge. Because there really are a lot of attacks in the game that you don't actually have to dodge. It just looks like they're gonna hit, but they don't actually hit. And I can't switch because I'm on the side of the arena. Oh, what the? Nidec on one hit that thing? Wait. Let's try that again. With just a normal attack? Solo with Chlorinde, but it's an actual fight. For casual players. You know, I don't get it. Like, Chlorinde has no interruption resistance anywhere in her kit. Yet Hoyo decided not to give her any in any of her constellations. Okay, so apparently it's not one hit. Why did it one hit the one earlier? Oops, forgot. I keep forgetting that that has a second hit on it. Oh, interesting. Why did it one hit? Jeez. Another one of these inconsistencies. Cons make her a tank with military jet speed. Yeah, but it's just annoying that she doesn't have any interruption resistance. Like, she moves around a lot. So she moves around a lot. So you are not, like, for example, if you're fighting a certain boss, that, say, for example, like the cryo Regvine, for example, like at some point eventually in the fight, where is it? Eventually in the fight, it freezes up a huge chunk of the ground where you can where you can only, like, at some point your the amount of the number of places that you're allowed to stand on is, like, becomes limited. So because Chlorinde moves around a lot because of the way she works, it actually gets harder to stay in those areas, right? And sometimes being in one of those areas, like, for example, it shows you, like, for example, a piece of the ground is like a safe spot. There's like a big hit that's coming, or like there's gonna be a meteor that drops down from the sky. And, like, because Chlorinde moves around a lot, so okay, sure, at the very least you can control exactly which direction you go in, as long as you're holding the directional key, the directional key while when you press E. But sometimes that's not so easy to control exactly, especially, like, for example, what if there are, like, multiple spots that are gonna get hit in a second from now, and then you just somehow aren't able to manage to, like, thread the needle, right, to get to that exact spot that you wouldn't get hit. Like, it would mean that you'd have to actually just stop attacking. You could just shoot without moving. You have to be very crafty while playing. Shoot while not moving. What do you mean by shoot by not moving? Oops. I guess there is one way to keep her from moving. Like, when you press E, you have to be, like, at the side of the like, whatever arena or domain you're at, where there's, like, an invisible collider that keeps you from going out of bounds. Like, sort of like this. Okay, sure, you're not moving here anymore, but that would mean you'd also have to get the enemy over there. Just don't dash? How do you not dash? You dash when you press E. It's not a dash. This movement, this is not a dash. This is me pressing E. It's not how she works. You don't dash on Chlorinde. She moves forward when you press E. Don't press E. That's not part of her attack. She doesn't, like, do... Her normal attacks don't do good damage when you don't press E. E is where the big chunk of her damage comes from. If you don't press E, it'd be like me just doing normal attacks on Nahidai, not pressing E. Damage isn't everything in a fight, it's survivability. In Elden Ring, maybe. Hey, what's up, Odd? How's it going, man? In Elden Ring, maybe, because, like, I don't actually know. Like, what happens when you die in Elden Ring? Like, do you lose your stuff, or like do you die and like you respawn somewhere really really far, or like what is what is sort of like the penalty for dying slash losing a fight in Elden Ring? Is there even one? Because like in Genshin, survivability isn't a very big deal. Like in Abyss, for example, in Theater, in what's it called, Onslaught, right? You just retry, and then all your characters are alive again. Especially in Abyss and Theater, all your bursts are ready, right? Your energy is full, your fighting spirit is full, right? You're just ready to fight, just retry. So survivability isn't really like a big thing in Genshin. The thing in Genshin is killing things within the timer. And since like the overworld domains, well, world bosses clearly don't have a timer at all, right? But like say weekly bosses, I believe there is an actual timer on weekly bosses. Oh, but it's less of like a timer to kill the boss and more of just like the normal like domain timer. Which is like really, really long. I think it's like 10 minutes or something. You lose your souls. Souls are used for level up, buying stuff. If you die twice, you lose them. Oh, really? Okay. I guess, okay, that seems very MMORPG-ish. Yeah, that seems very MMORPG-like. Like in an MMORPG. Now, I guess at the very least, like in MMORPG, you just click an enemy and then you just attack, and then it just like attacks it automatically, right? Unless if you're like a mage or something where you have to actually like actively be pressing skills on it. So, like in an MMORPG is like not very skill based. It's more like, do you know that your character can actually beat that boss? Then yes, go fight it, and then go fight it. It's dead, right? And yeah, right. So, but in an MMORPG, usually what you lose is you lose your XP, and once you hit like really high levels, that XP, the amount of XP that you lose isn't proportionate to how slowly it actually how long it takes to get said amount of XP that you lose if you die. Well, you say Ben is the best or Mavuika? They're very different characters. They do very different things. So I actually cannot really compare the two. Sorry, man. I know you were probably looking for just a straightforward answer, but I can't compare. Hey, which one's better? A Tesla Cybertruck or your mom's blow dryer? Like, right? It's it's kind of like that. Which one's better? Which one's better, this toilet seat or your Toyota Camry? Truly a dad player. You don't react and only do the kit while kind of dodging. That's actually funny to me as a guy who's crafty and aware of the enemy. Yeah, because you play different games. I play Genshin. And the mindset in Genshin is to kill things within the timer. And there are also plenty of enemies in Genshin that like the longer you drag out a fight, the more cringe it becomes. Like for example, I can't think of I believe the Pyro Regisvine too. I don't know about the Electro one though, but the Cryo Regisvine. At some point, it ices up the entire place, like the whole, like the entire ground. Where is that hole again? Oh, here. At some point, like in the fight, like several minutes into the fight, like the whole arena, like the ground is just iced up, and there's actually nowhere for you to go where you won't take damage over time. What is Chlorinde's what's it called? Color scheme. I don't think it's purple, right? Yeah. Well, she is purple-ish. Oh my god, none of these none of these wings suit her. I guess purple is like the closest one. Jeez. These all look so awkward on her. Okay, whatever. Trust Lay. What is Lay? RJ. They get a PC, I'll drag you into my games. Gotta make you a real gamer. Well, unfortunately, I can't afford a lot of the games that you play. From what I can guess, are probably like the games that you actually have to buy, and like obviously, like there's there are plenty of ways to access those games without buying them, but are free. Yeah, but like Elden Ring isn't free, isn't it? Okay, but you did say all. Wait, you said no. You said all. I never put money. Oh yeah. I mean, like I guess like you never do microtransactions. You mean? Gonna make you a real gamer, dude. The gamer in me died like 15 years ago. I'm old, dude. I just don't have the time anymore. I don't have the time nor the energy. Genshin really is like so it's so I've said this many times already. Genshin for me isn't like the kind of game where like I come in here to, like, for example, if I wanted the challenge, then I would have stuck to Rakion. And honestly, I wish I could have stuck to Rakion. Unfortunately, like the game's still up, like the servers are still up, but unfortunately, like it's just like it might as well be dead. It's like one of those like private servers that are like all but dead. Like when you look at the number of players online, there's like 3 players online. Like Rakion is, I don't know how to put it. It has very like its theme is very like medieval like. So it's a little bit Elden Ring. It's a little bit like whatever. Right? It's medieval like aesthetics. Obviously it's a game from the mid 2000s, so like it's not the most high fidelity graphics, but for the time it was decent. For the times it actually looked decent. Its controls are really simple. It's very the PvP is very skill based. It's the PvP is very skill based. It's not like there are no like combos. There are no combos whatsoever. It's just you. It's like yeah, it's almost like a shooter, but like if everyone was melee. I would have stuck to that game. Because like it's not a game, like especially when you do PvP, it's not the kind of game where you just chill. Like it's honestly, man, like I feel really bad about Rakion. Like honestly, in my opinion, I think that game easily could have become an esport if the developers just didn't hyper aggressively monetize it. It was a free to play game, sure, but it's just one like that nowadays. I don't know when they started doing this kind of monetization, but at some point, because like I've taken like multiple breaks from that game because of like work stuff and like having to move to a new city, etc., etc. Like lots of stuff happened in life, and at some point they started to pivot into like the kind of kind of like a very similar to like gotcha monetization, except the game it's not a gotcha game. There are no characters to pull for in that game. In fact, like when you create a character, you just pick a class and then that'll be your class. And then you just like you keep playing and then you level up and then you get stats and then you distribute the stats to whatever stats you want to improve on. And like every month, like literally every single month, they have some kind of event, and the event itself is like, sure, you can participate even if you don't spend any money, but you'll hardly get any rewards from said event. Like you just, I don't know, like you'll just get like a little bit of gold that doesn't really like, and the amount of gold that realistically doesn't help you much. Like it, like you know, it's not even enough to like upgrade a weapon or something. And but if you spend money, right, say like somewhere around 20 to like $40, you'll actually feel like you're actually participating in the event. And on top of that, you get a limited item, a time limited item that you know that you will never be able to get if you don't get it now. Because next event and forever, the said item, which also gives you a huge advantage over other players, will be gone forever. Like they started doing monetization like that, and it's like I like, dude, it killed the game. It just killed the game. It killed the game because like it already wasn't a very like versatile game, right? Like there wasn't very, because like the controls themselves were fairly simple, like very like the combat was very direct, very like what you do, what you press. It's not like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like an RTS, like StarCraft Brood War, for example, that you make a decision to go with a specific build order, and then you're locked into that specific build order for the rest of the game. Right? Like there's no strategy in it. It's just pure like swing your sword, decide when when you should swing your sword, when you should not swing your sword, when you should block, etc., etc. And yeah, it's very skill based. And honestly, if that game had gone on, I think it could have easily been become an esport, because it was just the kind of game that you could easily have a tournament of. Like anyone could just have a tournament. Naraka Blade Point. I mean, like, I probably would have enjoyed. Hang on. Let me look it up. Blade Point. I probably would have enjoyed it if it's anywhere similar to Rakion. I probably would have enjoyed it like 15 years ago. But now, so okay, dude, I play Genshin. There's a reason why I play Genshin. Because so Genshin's combat isn't like super hard, right? Like Genshin's combat isn't super hard. It's not brain dead easy, right? I mean, like at some point in history, in Genshin history, it did actually become like brain dead easy because of Zhongli. You just bring Zhongli and you're like, okay, hold E, all damage is off. It did at some point in history, it did become brain dead easy. Um, but yeah, like otherwise, it's not brain dead easy. Like you can't just like close your eyes, spam left click, and you wait a couple of minutes and you just win the fight. But it's easy enough that I don't actually have to try. But it's not so easy that I don't feel any satisfaction when I win a fight. Like obviously overworld domains or whatever, like they're like okay, 5 second fight. But like I'm talking more about Abyss, Onslaught, Theater can go screw itself. Theater is just not satisfying at all. You don't get to use the characters in the teams that they are satisfying to use in because you don't have full access to your whole roster of characters on your account that you actively decided to pull for because you want to use those characters. But no, like Theater's not that. Apparently you're not allowed to use all of them. Yeah, so it's just right there in the middle of the road where like it's not so hard that I have to try hard all the time, but it's not so easy that I don't feel any satisfaction at all from winning a fight. And so okay, the part where I don't have to try hard is the important bit because in my how do I put this? Like in this phase of my life, I'm a working dude. And by the time that I finish work, like my brain's already all out of juice. I'm gonna quote a gay streamer that said it's much better. What? It's much better than okay. What? Okay, sorry. What is better than that? Are you watching a video? All we're seeing is the screen. On the screen is Zhongli. Because I am just looking at Zhongli. Oh, you know what? Okay, there. So Zhongli shuts up. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I was saying like by the time that I get off work, my brain is out of juice, and I don't want to drain it even more by playing a game where that I actually have to try hard in. Nor do I wanna stir up emotions by playing like competitive games like shooters or a MOBA. I wanna play a game that helps me sort of wind down for the end of the day. And that's exactly what Genshin is. But at the same time, it's not just like playing Plants vs Zombies on my phone in bed, right? Playing Plants vs Zombies on my phone in bed is just to me anyway. Like I see it as like unproductive because there's no actual like forward progress that happens in anything. I just spent time doing something that didn't really give me anything in return. And like obviously like Genshin doesn't really give me anything in return, right? But at the very least there is the I guess it's not necessarily an illusion. I am sort of making forward progress every time I play the game, right? Every time I spend my resin, every time I do my dailies, etc., right? At least like there is like clear progression after the time that I put into it. Right? So Thought you were watching a video. I didn't realize I had another window open. Oh, okay. You were probably hearing like another other audio then. I played Genshin casually, yet people say I'm tryharding. I can't try hard because most everything is boring. I mean, there's really not much in Genshin to try hard in. Like, I guess the only way that you can, like, even force yourself to try hard in the game is, like, doing something that is clearly not doable. Now that I remember, the last time Hoyo listened was when Zhongli was so bad on release. I mean, okay, I put the words the word listened in quotes because like while I do like what Zhongli is now with the like the red shred, there's the I believe it's a passive. Okay, yeah, there's this thing that further makes his shield stronger. Um, what else was it? I don't remember anything else. But yeah, like I do like the way Zhongli is now, and even with the buff, couple years down the line, now we're here in 2025. Zhongli is well basically obsolete. He's not unusable, but he's definitely not a highly. He's definitely not a desired character anymore. Right, despite him being overpowered at the time of, well, a few days after his release when he got buffed. Despite that, he's like at this point, like in 2025, at some point in the future after his release and or slash buff, he's still sort of obsolete. I like the state that Zhongli is in now, but Hoyo, I don't like that like Hoyo did something, in which the community thought, well, hey, this is wrong. You're not doing enough. Like what? You're not doing enough. Okay, we're gonna complain about this and that, and then like company bends over and says, sorry, here you go, come in, please, right? I like it. Just what that does is that builds no, that conditions your players that conditions your players mentally, makes them think that they can get what they want as long as they cry about it. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing as like when your baby cry, like let's say your baby picked up a thing that it shouldn't have picked up. You're at your friend's house, your baby picked up I don't know, like a figurine, like a glass figurine, and you're like, okay, I don't want my baby to drop this, so you just snatch it away from his hands. Right? You just snatch it away from your baby's hands, and then baby starts crying immediately. And then like, oh wait, no. You just give the thing back to the baby. Right? So what you've done there now is you have conditioned your baby. You've trained it so that if it cries, it gets what it wants. And you're not like I don't think I could say that you're not supposed to do that, because like obviously it's a free world. It's your baby, you can do whatever you want with it. You can treat it however you want. But if you don't ever want to have trouble with it being spoiled, then you shouldn't do stuff to make it spoiled. One of the things I hated but was playing. Sorry, hang on. There, okay. It's playing multiple characters. It would have like had one now use the abilities of other characters, but it's a gacha game. Yes, it is. Zhongli back then performed terrible as a shielder compared to Xingqiu. Oh, that is true, right? That is true, because like Well, Xingqiu doesn't completely block damage, right? But because it's damage reduction, especially when his burst is up, right, where the rain swords don't actually expire, you just have like you could just take so much damage. Like you could like Xingqiu's damage reduction could take so much more damage than Zhongli's shield at the time. The only time that your Xingqiu's damage reduction wouldn't be able to take any more damage is if the character that you're using actually just straight up died. The Zhongli buff was pretty warranted, though, considering he is one of the most sought out characters, and his lore being a strong Archon should at least have a shield that could withstand a few attacks. Yeah, that's true. So at the very least, like that one was like, yeah, honestly, it was appropriate. I think that buff was appropriate. I don't think why we got that buff was appropriate. I think it was a terrible reason to get that buff. But I do think that Hoyo should have released Zhongli the way he is now, like like when he was initially released. Not really a fan of live updated games. I like a solid full game with everything in it for you to explore, build, and finish. Live service games only brings toxicity, aka Fortnite. Fortnite and like 99% of games in 2025. Yeah. Xingqiu gives Hydra application, damage reduction, damage interruption, damage resistance. Zhongli just does crystallized reaction. We know how that goes. Waterboy and Chlorinde C6 is straight up immortal huntress. Fontaine skins are crazy. They literally have real life celebrity as Fortnite skins. That game. They say Fontaine. Fortnite skins are crazy. Literally have real life celebrities Fortnite skins in that game. Isn't there like a Snoop Dogg skin or something? I don't remember. I don't remember, but if I'm remember, I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly. But like, I heard that there's like a week ago or so or something. There was like a something about Snoop Dogg in the game. They have concerts in Fortnite. I heard about that. That they literally have concerts in the game. John Wick, Star Wars, Naruto is like a whole mishmash. My God, what the heck is Fortnite become, man? All right, hang on. I gotta turn on the fan. Even Ariana Grande is there as a skin. At this point, I'm surprised Pokimane and like some other Twitch streamers aren't in the game as skins. Games as a service is sort of so it is a moneymaker. Yeah, the business itself, the business model itself is a moneymaker. But the problem is when the market is saturated with games as a service, then say for example, okay, like when games as a service, the concept of games as a service came out. Okay, it's the way that you keep the service, the way that you keep the game going is, since it's gonna be a online game, is you need to earn a certain amount of money every month or every quarter or every year, right? And since player traffic is directly proportionate to well, I guess like hosting costs, right? Player traffic and amount of data that you need to store for your game, right? Like your player data is directly proportionate to how much your server hosting costs are going to be. Then the more your player base grows, the more expensive your hosting costs will be. And then all right, so that means each and every one of those players you will need to earn a certain amount of money for each and every one of those players. Well, on average, doesn't have to be every single one. Like you can earn more from some of them, you can earn nothing on some of them, right? Like etc. etc. Just on average. But that sounds terrible because now, if like now you've lit a fire behind you that is just constantly chasing after you, and during times where all your players have no more reason, like when a time comes where all your players have no more reason to spend money on your game, all of a sudden that fire is catching up to you. And now you've locked yourself into this constant cycle where you have to constantly find a way to get your players to spend money on the game. Otherwise, your servers just die. And man, it just sucks that the gaming industry is filled with so many of these kinds of games that have this kind of business model. Now, I understand that like the traditional like gaming business model that we used to have, which was very similar to the movie making industry as well, by the way, right? Like movie makers, they spend a lot of money, they make a movie, and then they make the money back from this through theaters and or well, used to be VHS or VHS sales, DVD sales, right? Through theaters and DVD sales, and that's how video games used to make money. The developer spends a lot of money making the game. They make sure the game is finished and there are no more bugs in it. There's no more problems in it, and then they release the game. People buy copies of it, and they make the money back. Right? Remember a time when like games, when released, were finished. Like they were actually finished. There was no updating them. No reason to update them. Right? Because game developers actually didn't release games if they weren't finished. Right? And nowadays we're in this world where games release unfinished. Sorry, who is Miyazaki again? Miyazaki. Isn't that the guy who made Death Stranding, I think? Oh no. Miyazaki, the oh shoot, he's an anime guy. Wait, what was the oh no. Well, who was the Death Stranding guy? Kojima. You remember Crash Bandicoot 1? Oh my god. Wait, I played that. Where did I play that on? Oh, my friend's PlayStation. Yeah, my friend's PlayStation. Oh man, that was a fun time. I wasn't good at it though, but I had fun. I had fun playing it. Wasn't good at it because I was a retarded kid that I guess didn't have the capability of learning or comprehension or thinking for the matter. But hey, I had fun. Played it on the PS1 in 2006. I only got to play it like several minutes at a time because it wasn't like I didn't have a copy of the game that I could play on my PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 1, but it was like the OG, the original one, like the big one, the big thick boy. Didn't expect y'all to be a bunch of jerks. I'm on the ferry? Ferry? Can't hear stuff. Just leaving my 2 cents. That was a poopy move from y'all. My dude, you come, like, okay. Isn't it hypocritical of you? Like, you come in here all the time, like, messing around, trying to rile people up. And then the moment people say, yeah, the moment people, well, not even, like, intending to make fun of you, right? Just the moment people say something, say what they think, and then it just so happens to have something to do with you, and you're like offended by it. Isn't that hypocritical? Like, you're constantly coming in here, riling people up, and saying like, "Hey, I'm just messing with y'all. Like, y'all are so uptight and whatever. Like, I was just messing I was just messing around." When you, dude, when you mess around with people and expect them not to get offended and not to get riled up by you messing around, then you expect that same exact treatment from other people, dude. You don't want people to mess with you, then don't mess with people. It's just that simple. If you can't handle people messing with you, then don't mess with other people. It's simple. I had the original PS1 with 200 original games. Um, I don't know what was. I think the problem with my PlayStation was because my dad bought it from. I believe. Yeah. Oh, you know what? My dad bought it when he was in the U.S. Like, my dad used to work abroad for a really long time till he retired. Several years ago, actually. And yeah. Oh, another problem I had too was that the city I grew up in was like a really small city, not 100%, not a very capitalistic city. Like, sure, there was a lot of shipping coming into the city, but It didn't mean that business was done a lot. A lot of the business that was coming through the city was also being done in the city. So there just wasn't a very big market for, well, anything really, anything imported at the time. So there was nowhere in the entire city to buy legit copies of PlayStation 1 games. And the closest city that I could buy any games in was like at least 4 hours away by bus, because at the time we didn't have a car, and my mom and dad had no idea about anything games, like game console. Honestly, I don't even know why my dad bought it for me. Like I was like, I appreciate it, I really do. Like I'm actually really thankful that my dad bought it for me. But like my dad to this day has no idea like how to use like computers. Like obviously he has a phone, knows how to use it, knows how to install apps on it. But he cannot like troubleshoot like if anything goes wrong on it at all, like to save his life. So yeah, there was no way, there was absolutely no way that my mom or like my dad, especially my mom, would have spent 8 hours, because like 4 hours one way, like at least 8 hours on the bus to take me to a city just to buy games that I couldn't even like make a decision on at the time, because there was no quote unquote online at the time. You couldn't just like call a store and then say, hey, what games do you have? And then, okay, well, watch some footage of it on YouTube, because there was no YouTube at the time. Watch some footage of YouTube. Let your kid see some footage of it on YouTube to see if he likes it. And like, oh, well, there's no YouTube at the time. There was no internet at the time. So you literally, like, if you wanted to buy games at the time, you literally had to walk into a store and look at the art. The art, like the picture art on the cover of the CD, like of the plastic cover of the CDs, and then that's how you picked games at the time. Games weren't expensive back then, so it was easy. Well, if you were well off, then yeah, they were not expensive. But for average Filipinos, for the average Filipino that's earning like minimum wage, like the average parents, that are earning minimum wage. I mean, like even my dad was not earning minimum wage. He was earning way more than minimum wage because like working abroad and stuff. But definitely not rich, because he wasn't like a licensed mariner. Um, yeah, but like it's odd, like I'm sure my dad would have easily had enough money to like comfortably buy me games and stuff, but well, my dad is my dad, and he spends a lot of his money on drinking and and his friends. uh my mom my mom sort of lived as if we barely had enough to go by. So like my whole life I grew up just thinking that we barely had enough to make ends meet all the time. Yeah, so I sort of never really asked her for anything. Yeah, because like I always thought that we were just on the edge of like starvation all the time. That's all I thought about ever. So I never asked her for anything. I never asked her, dude. I never even tried to ask my mom if I could buy like another game for my PlayStation. There was this one time where I asked my dad for it, and then my dad said like, "Well, I have no idea how to do it. Just ask your mom to do it." He told my mom to do it, and we went to like a store in like a mall in the local mall here that sold not necessarily games. Like they sold lots of other stuff, but they also sold PS games. But the problem was The problem was at the time, almost all, no, you know what? Actually, not almost all the PlayStation games that were being sold in my city were all fake. And like how you know it's fake is like they were so cheap. They were like $2. And there were absolutely no PlayStation games that were being sold for $2. So they clearly were pirated copies. So I remember my mom bought me one because my dad asked her to, and I tried it out and it just didn't work. It just straight up didn't work. And after that, I just never asked my mom or my dad to buy me any games again. They have 100 games in it. Oh no, no! At the time, like it wasn't like this was like way, 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 way back then. This was like before 2004. This was like 2002, I believe. Like what year did the PlayStation 1 come out? Oh my god. 1994, 1995. Yeah, yeah, this was like, oh my god, wait, no. This was before my brother was born. Yeah, my brother was born in 1999. So this was like 1997. Yeah, 97 or 98 era. Yeah, so like those like 101 games in 101 CD, 100 games in one CD thing. Those didn't exist yet at this time. Like the quote unquote the fake like games at the time, they were all like they actually had like a printout. It would sort of look real, but it's clear it was like you could easily tell that it was fake because like the print quality was just so cheap compared to originals, compared to actual real games. I think I told my parents to buy me games. They would go into a PlayStation store, ask me for one game I would like. Well, that yeah, okay. It sounds like your parents were they actually knew about this stuff. Sounds like your parents actually knew about this stuff. Like they knew about games. They probably even played games. I mean, from what I remember, your dad plays Genshin, doesn't he? I would just hack my PSP and download games online at 49 kilobits a second. Hey, cheers. Maybe yeah, I might be misremembering you for someone, Mighty. Yeah, I might be misremembering you for someone. I don't know. Cuz like the fact that your parents actually know to walk into to know what store sells games for a PlayStation. Yeah, the fact that your parents actually knew which store sold PlayStation games means that they knew what they were doing. They knew a little bit about it. My parents knew nothing about it. Like they wouldn't even know. Like even if they saw like what was in the store, they wouldn't actually know if that store sold games for a PlayStation. At the time that I had at the time that I had a PlayStation a PSP. Did I have a computer already at the time? Oh no, no, I didn't. I didn't have a computer yet at the time. Yeah, yeah, I didn't have a computer yet at the time. Uh at the time that I had a PSP, I didn't have a computer. Obviously, no internet as well. Oh my god, this was so long ago. This was like 2002, 2003 era. Wait, it could have been no, no, no. Cuz I remember this was before high school. Yeah, before high school. So it was definitely before my first PC, and my first PC was like somewhere around 2004. So no computer, no access to the internet, so no way to quote unquote hack my PSP. And the thing about the PSP as well is that like getting like real legitimate PlayStation 1 games in my city was already like pretty much impossible. It was like double impossible for PSP games, especially because like the PSP just wasn't very popular as a console. It just didn't. Yeah, it just wasn't very popular. So not many places sold PSP games. You know, like the mini disc that you could put into the PSP. I just think they're smart people with important jobs. Well, they clearly, yeah, they were clearly in the middle class even while they were growing up because they were clearly well educated. Oh my dude, my mom was a farmer and my dad was a fisherman. And he didn't even like they didn't even grow up as farmers and fishermen. Like my mom grew up as the daughter of a farmer who didn't even own his own land. uh how yeah, like I remember my mom constantly telling me of stories where like every single day they had to walk like 1 or 2 hours every morning just to get to school, and they weren't allowed to go to school if they didn't man, how do you I don't actually know how to say this in English. So here in the Philippines we call it so in Cebuano we say guna, which is sort of like you take like a very specifically shaped, not necessarily, it's like a knife but not really, like okay, so the shape of it is like it looks like the it looks like a paddle, and the sharp edge is the front, like the end is the sharp edge and not the sides. And it usually has like a wooden handle, and what it's used for is for like, I guess, oh, tilling the no, it's not tilling the ground. I guess you can use it to till the ground by hand, but it's mostly used to like dig up the ground a little bit and then like take out weeds and stuff. So in Cebuano we call that guna. My mom said that like they weren't like their parents didn't allow them to go to school if they didn't guna before. And they didn't have shoes to go to school. They all only they all only goon nah. Yeah, they all like my mom like always talked about how like they had to walk like an hour or two to get to school, and that they didn't have any allowance because like their parents didn't have any money to give them because like my mom has a lot of sisters. My mom has two brothers and a lot of sisters. I think there's like, yeah, I think my grandma has a total of like 8 or 9 children. So yeah, absolutely zero allowance, no money for fare. That's why they had to walk. And they said that my mom said that at that time, a bottle of bottle of Coca Cola used to cost 10 cents. No, sorry, not cents. Cents is like dollar cents. 10 centavos, like Philippine cents. My dad, I don't really have any. I don't really have any. I guess like difficult stories of my dad. My dad hardly ever. Yeah, I guess like my dad doesn't really talk about his hardships. Like I'm sure he's also gone through a lot of hardships, but he doesn't seem to see them as hardships. Like because my dad's like really he always like finds a way to to have fun in whatever situation he's in. And by have fun, I'm not talking about like by him by himself. I'm talking about like even if he's like doing like some hard labor, he always manages to make friends. And like at the end of the day, like out like when they get paid or whatever, like they always like just go out and buy drinks and like just they have drinks, right? Like none of it, like most yeah, none of the stories he's ever told me have been quote unquote hardships. They were always about like all the crazy stuff that he did as a kid. My grandpa has like 15 kids. Two are twins, which is one of my dad. Which my dad is one of. Oh, okay, okay. All right, RJ, see you later. Have fun with the pics I sent you. All right, hey, take care, man. Take care, mighty. Yeah, crazy how man, my God, jeez, right? Like think about it, man. People used to have so many kids, right? Like you said, your grandpa had like 15 kids, right? My mom, my mom's parents had like I think 8 or 9 kids. My dad's parents didn't have as many. Hang on, uncle, my one aunt. You know what? I actually don't know all of my dad's siblings. I know a few of them, but I don't know if he has like a few more that I don't know about. I don't think so. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my dad. So that's 5. I'm sure there's more. Yeah, there's I don't know. Yeah, I know of 5, but I don't know if there's any more. But my dad has been around a lot. Like, because my dad is like super, super friendly and stuff, he knows so many of his cousins. And he's actually introduced me to like a couple of them and the many children that they have. That I have no idea who is who anymore. There's like so many people. They, I almost got traded. My wife's my wife's mom, I don't know how many. I think it's somewhere around 10. Had like somewhere around 10 children, but man, my wife's dad though. My wife's dad's dad. Um dude, they had like a total of like 18 children. They had like yeah, they had like 3 or 4 sets of twins. Uh and then like the rest were like just single children. Of course, a lot of them died out though. Like a lot of them died young. So not all 18 made it to adulthood. Like a lot of them died at like 5 or 6 years old. Some of them died at like 3 or 4 years old as well. 18, right? Like, dude, I can barely afford one child right now. Like let alone 18, dude. If I got traded, I'd probably be working the mountains. It's crazy, crazy. And the thing too is like people in the past, hardly anyone had jobs before, right? Like, of course though, a lot of people did have land at the time, and even if they didn't have land, um, you could like as long as you worked hard, you could always like find a a piece of land that someone already owns that you could just become a tenant for. right? Like you would take care of the land for them, and you'd be able to, like, well, you do whatever with the land, right? You do whatever with the land, and of course the owner gets a piece of it. But if the owner doesn't ask for his piece, then like you get all of the stuff that happens on his land. So yeah, as long as you worked hard, you farm and stuff, you will, yeah, you would have always, you would have just never run out of food, even if you didn't have any income at all. Uh, and even if you had a lot of children, you would have still been able to feed your family at the time. It's crazy, man. They just survive, but by eating what's growing in their backyards. Yeah, right. This used to be the way of the Philippines. And you used to, and like another interesting thing too is like a lot of the people that are nowadays in their late 50s to mid 60s grew up grew up under parents like that who didn't have jobs but had a lot of land to do whatever with. And a lot of them would, you know, a lot of them would be able to share basically the same story, where their parents wouldn't allow them to go to school because they had to help out with the farm, or at the very least, like in my mom's case, my mom, in my mom's case, my mom and her sisters were not allowed to go to school if they didn't help out on the farm before going to school. Oh my god, speaking of school, man. I just so I already knew that my son didn't ever listen in school. Like didn't ever listen to discussions, the teachers' discussions in school. But I just I never really like looked into it. I never really looked into it. I never really like asked my son any questions about like what he learned that day, what topics they discussed, or whatever. But earlier, like this evening, which is actually one of the reasons why I started the stream so late. Uh, I was helping him out. Well, me and my wife were helping him out with his science homework, and there was a point in the science homework that had something to do with mass, volume, and density. And it was like, dude, these kids, like, wait, my son's in fourth grade. Why the heck are they doing like the solving problems, like the like right like getting the density of this object after being given the mass and volume of said object, right? And it's insane. Like I remember when I was a kid, like the first time I'd ever encountered this stuff, I was already in like fifth or sixth grade, not like fourth grade. And so, like he read the question, and it was like I don't remember what the question was, but it included the word volume, like not volume like audio volume. I mean like volume like physics volume. And I asked my son, "Do you know what volume means?" And he said like how loud it is. And so I looked at when he said that, I looked at the question, and I tried to look at it to see like how would he make sense of this question if he thought that volume, this word volume in the question, meant how loud or how quiet it was. And no matter how I put it together in my head, I couldn't find a way like how what his understanding of the question could have been. And then I asked him, And then I asked him, "Did you learn about this in school before?" And he gave me that look where he just didn't want to answer because he didn't actually know whether or not they were already taught it in school. He gave me that look where he didn't know whether to answer yes or no because he didn't remember whether or not they were actually taught about this. So he gave me that look. So what I did was like I opened his book because the homework was in the book, the question was in the book. I opened his book. I went to the first like couple of pages to look for the table of contents. Looked for where the definition and the explanation of what volume, mass, and density would have been. And surprise, surprise, hey, I found it, right? Because obviously it wouldn't be put, they wouldn't put a test in the book if it wasn't discussed in a previous page. And voila, I found it. And I was like, okay, well, you wouldn't be getting tested for this if this wasn't taught to you already. And then, like, I don't know why I even bothered. I asked my son, like, do you listen in school? And I already knew the answer to that. The answer is no. And then, like, my wife just straight up, like, also, like, double confirmed it. He doesn't do anything. He just does stuff. He either talks to his classmates or walks around or, like, just does other stuff that, right? Nothing to do with the lesson. And then I asked, like, I thought out loud, like, you know, like, I said to my wife, even though I didn't really, like, it was like a rhetorical question. It was like a rhetorical question. Don't the teachers scold the kids when they don't listen? When they don't pay attention? And, like, so reason why it was a rhetorical question, because I knew that the teachers in my son's school didn't really ever scold kids. They didn't yell at kids for not listening or whatever. They just and now I cannot confirm what the reasons are, but some of the common reasons are that they are afraid to get they're afraid to have to see parents come to the school and complain why their children were being scolded or being yelled at or whatever. Another reason is that a lot of these teachers are fresh graduates, literally 22, 23 years old, and have had zero experience in facing the real world. And what I mean by facing the real world is, well, facing, well, difficulty, right? Facing, like, actual obstacles that have consequences if you handle them wrong. Where is this going? Are you saying that we need to beat kids? Some kids. Yeah. Some kids need a good beating. But not all kids need a beating. But kids do definitely need to fear the people that are, well, adults. Yeah. Got a good hard beating in my days. Yeah, right? But then that also made us into the people we are now. My youngest brother never had. Now he's spoiled. He's spoiled AF. Yeah, right? See? So and the worst part, the thing I hate the most is, so okay, earlier I was complaining about this in Genshin, and here I am complaining about it in something completely unrelated to Genshin, completely unrelated to video games. Inconsistency. I don't have kids, so I wouldn't understand. Yeah, so I'm gonna complain about inconsistency again, right? Because, like, okay, cool, they have questions that are, like, so basic, that are, like, all, like, basically that are, like, kindergarten level questions, right? Like, which in which scenario In no, something like in which scenario is say John doing the right thing, and like all four choices are like sentences that describe what John is doing. And then John is helping the poor. John is stealing other kids' candy. John is going out even though his parents didn't allow him to go out, right? And like just like very like basically kindergarten level questions. And then all of a sudden, in another subject, they're being expected to learn about government projects. They're being expected to learn about different kinds of government projects. It blows my mind. It blows my mind how just broken like the curriculum is. It just sounds like there was no thought given. Like it looks like there was no thought given into approving or disapproving like each of these topics that would be part of grade number, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, like of whatever grades curriculum. And this, they didn't even just learn this year, by the way. Like school project, sorry, not school projects, government projects. This was last year. This was when my son was in 3rd grade. An 8-year-old kid expected to understand government and politics. But to be honest, elementary school is a whole mishmash for a kid. Ooh. I hear stuff. It does sound like one. Sounded like 2. It just doesn't make sense, man. Like, sounds too loud for killing a mosquito. It's just so inconsistent. And okay, so my biggest problem really is that their teachers are either too scared or feel uncomfortable about scolding kids. About scolding kids because and the thing is too is like technically they don't have to in order to quote unquote do their jobs. Because their job is to, well, quote unquote, teach the kids, right? Well, not necessarily, especially like today, like in 2025, quote unquote, teaching the kids isn't really your job. Your job is just to okay, it's the all right, make a lesson plan. If they scold kids, they get fired. Yeah, exactly, right? Right, and like dude, they like, because a lot of these teachers are so young, so inexperienced, they just, when like the principal or whoever is in charge say stuff like treat the kids well, and then they give examples of like things that happened in the school's history where a parent complained and this happened, that happened. Of course, those teachers are gonna be scared to scold any kids. Of course, those teachers are gonna be scared to show that they're angry, right? Not let alone scold the kids for not paying attention. They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be scared to. They're gonna be scared to even show that they're angry. They're always just gonna be like smiling and like hey kid, okay, well sit down, get off the table, and then like he's not getting off the table, and you're like, okay, well just ignore him, right? Dude, that never happened. Like when, like dude, I was like when I was in first grade, second grade, even in kindergarten, like the teacher would get mad at us, and whenever the class got too noisy, they would always like get mad at us, and man, that ruler would always smack the table. That ruler smacking the table was like one of the scariest things you could ever hear. I always hated when the teacher smacked the table. Right? Like when we heard that like good old like smack, like really sharp smack, because like teachers back then had a wooden ruler, like a really thick wooden ruler. So it would always make this like really sharp, really loud smack. And when everyone heard that, everyone would just like stop and listen and look at the teacher and like, oh, teacher's mad. We were too loud, we were too noisy. Okay, stop talking. And then like eventually, okay, teacher scolds us, and then uh, by the end of it, we are all by the end of it, we are all paying attention. Uh, we were all paying attention, and we would all have our hands clasped together in front of us on the desk. That was what happened. And we would all just shut up and be quiet. By the end of it, we would all have our hands clasped together in front of us on the desk, and our eyes on the teacher. And then the teacher could actually teach us something. Nowadays, in a class of like 30 kids, there might be like 2, 3, or 4 kids that are actually like that are sitting in front of the class, that are like actually listening to the teacher, and the teacher sees that, oh, hey, these kids are listening to me, okay, so I'm gonna continue the discussion. And the other 25 kids in the back are like walking around, running around in the back of the classroom. One is like one is just drawing, one is just like doing whatever, one is sleeping, one is like wiping his snot on the underside of the desk, like, and the teacher's just like teaching these 4 kids that are willing to listen, instead of putting in the effort to make everyone listen and learn. None of the teaching stayed in mind. I don't remember any school subject. Yeah, but then like, okay, sure, right, right. That's a terrible thing. But then, and that was also really really common. But at least we learned discipline. We learned we learned to fear our teachers. We learned to fear and respect our parents. And we didn't grow up as spoiled brats. Chalk and eraser. Chalk and eraser were flying back then. Oh yeah. Chalk and erasers, man. They definitely went flying back in the day. man, I don't know if I would call it the good old days, but it was definitely the days when teaching was actually effective. When school systems and the education system was actually effective and we actually educated children. Speaking of which, I also have this one kid that I tutor now. No, there are actually two of them. I tutor both the kid and his big sister. And his big sister I have no problem with because like she's a little because she's older, she can like she's a little easier to for me to reason with. But the younger one though, um I just I'm constantly like paying attention to his eyes, where his eyes are at, where his hands are at, whether it looks like his hands are like fiddling around with something. And okay, I teach him something, explain, show him something, show him of me doing it, and then I ask him to do it, and then he's like, huh? And then I show it again, and then okay, he apparently watched the second time I did it, because I called his attention, I called his name, I asked him to do something and he didn't know how to do it. He's now in alert mode. He's like, "Oh, RJ needs me to do something." So, okay, I'm going to watch what he's asking me to do. So, he's actually paying attention only in that moment, not the time when you were explaining. Only in the moment where you showed him what to do. But they weren't actually paying attention to when you were explaining why you do it this way, what this is about, what this is for. Right? And so when I scold him for it, I'm always like looking for a way for like something that I can compare it to that happens in his day-to-day life, in his day-to-day situation. I can't always think of something good, but whenever I do scold him, I do my best to like make him feel like embarrassed or make him feel bad about himself for not knowing the answer when I ask him a question. I wanna like I always try to find a way to make him feel that oh man, I wish I'd listened, because now RJ isn't gonna repeat his question, but I didn't hear his question because I wasn't paying attention. I've never experienced school beatings before. The most we've experienced is fearing our principal because she would interrogate, intimidate. Yeah, that's it. Interrogate and intimidate. I like. By the time I was in primary school, in kindergarten, and in primary school, teachers hitting students was already like a really big deal. It was already like completely illegal, and even though that was the case, I still did have this one teacher who, even as I was in kindergarten, was already really old. So she was like a really she was a really highly experienced school teacher, and because she was old, she started teaching from way back in the day when like teachers, when there probably weren't any laws related to like that would prevent teachers from hitting kids. So like she I guess like the habit stayed with her even into the 90s, and she still did it, but she did only do it when necessary. She didn't do it out of anger. She did it out of necessity. She did it to make sure that the specific children that she would hit would remember to not do it again. One thing that traumatized me in school was getting my first detention. Oh, what happened, Gomes? Why did that traumatize you. Yeah. Another, and I don't think all private schools have this same problem that my son's school has. I think the problem, so this problem is only present in really small, barely profitable private schools, because in small private schools, so they clearly don't earn enough to pay teachers well, right? So to pay teachers well. So most of the time, the teachers that these kinds of schools will have are fresh graduates that really just need a school to take them so that they can start to get some experience and work on their careers. But since these people, these teachers are just getting started on their careers, they are willing to put up with as much BS as possible, as much BS as they can put up with, right? Like not scolding the kids, not actually being able to educate the children that they're supposed to educate, having to deal with like their superiors that tell them, hey, you should do it like this, you shouldn't do it like that, and then okay, here, do this, do that, okay, like all right, right, like just adding on so much more work than they're supposed to be doing, right? And then like as soon as they get like 1 or 2 years of experience, they leave, right? So like all the experience that they got from being there for 1 or 2 years, now that school, because the school is barely profitable, because it's such a small scale, isn't able to afford to pay this teacher with just a little bit more experience than a fresh graduate. And honestly, I really regret not sending my son to the school that I went to from the get-go, like from the very beginning. And now I do understand that my reason at the time was finances. Like I wasn't sure if I could afford the tuition there. The difference really, like there wasn't the difference wasn't very big. But it was enough to make me think that I might not have been able to afford it. And so not just the quality of education, but even like the environment itself, because the school that I went to, while a private school, was like a really like well established school, and the school actually looked like a school. I don't know how to put this, but I don't know how to put this, but the school that my son, like the small private school that my son goes to now, it's in a really nice location, but it's in a residential location, because what they did was they bought like 2 or 3 residential houses that were not connected to each other in any way. They didn't even look in any way, shape, or form similar to each other, but they were, all 3 or 4 of them were like right next to each other. That they didn't even bother like tearing down the homes. They just used the structures. They renovated it and like, well, jerry rigged it to some extent to make them all connect to each other, so that it would be just one school. And now I have no problems with that, because like that is like, it's not necessarily a startup. The school has been somewhat quite known in my city ever since I was a kid. But because yeah, and like honestly, I appreciate the willingness to Well, again, yeah, to endure the hardship of a startup, right? Like their scale right now really is at the scale of a startup school. But like the school I went to was like really well established already. Like your rooms literally had actual corridors that you would walk down, up and down, to and from, to get to your room. You would actually see room numbers. You would see different rooms. And it was like in a location where it wasn't so far from like literally where I live, but it was just far enough that the rooms didn't need to be air conditioned because there was a lot of space between the school building itself and the street, and because they had a lot of land, that there's literally like a forest right outside the school building. And during recess, before school, before classes, and after classes, there's actually a place for you to go out of your classroom, and like you could go to the so the part there's like a part of the school grounds that we used to call the mini forest. There's like, oh my god, I can't even begin to explain. Like there are just so many places for you to just like hang out with your classmates and like do whatever. There's an actual playground. Yeah, man, it's literally a school environment. And because it is at such a large scale of a school, they can actually afford to pay the teachers like quite well, quite well, which means a lot of highly experienced and highly experienced teachers are actually very much so willing to remain there, to remain there until their retirement. And because they are, well, highly experienced teachers, they would be much they would do much better in situations where they're facing a child that doesn't pay attention, right? Like they know, they just well, they have the experience. They know how to deal with a child that doesn't listen. They know how to deal with a child, like, and how to get them to actually listen and learn something, right? And because they're paid so well, even if because they're paid so well, even if a parent comes to complain, hey, why did this teacher get mad at my kid? Why did this teacher yell at my kid or whatever? Right? Like even if somehow they got fired, like they wouldn't be that scared because they're so highly experienced that they could easily just get fired from the school and get a get a job at a different school. And they would still, like, because they're paid so well, that they actually have a bunch of savings, that they would be fine even after even with a couple of months, even while being unemployed for a couple of months while looking for the next job. It's very different. And now my son is in this situation where he has attachments to the school, right? Like, he already has friends, and my son has already has some sort of reputation in the school. And when I say reputation, I mean, like, so like my wife is like really competitive about like extracurricular activities and stuff, like making costumes for him for like certain uh, uh, yearly events in the school, right? So like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but like my son already has some sort of like reputation in the school that the teachers know him for, that he is good at this, he is good at that, etc., etc., and that is like a really like big deal when it comes to school. Because, like, for example, if your child is known in your school by multiple teachers as like someone who is really good at drawing, a lot of the time, if there is some kind of like artistic competition, like citywide artistic competition, a lot of the teachers are gonna immediately like, oh hey, this kid's this kid is good in art. Why don't we let him give it a try, right? And then there you go. You just gave the kid an opportunity to have a better future, right? And like starting over now would take him back to zero. And my biggest my one of my bigger problems would be the school uniform is very, very different. So I'd have to spend a bunch of money on a new school uniform all over again. School ID, books. Well, obviously books every year. So okay, never mind the books, but like, yeah, everything. Not to mention that the school is a little like this. My old school's it hasn't moved, but they've moved which gate the primary school and high school students are should come in and out of. They're not allowed to. Apparently, they're not allowed to come in and out of the same gate that we used to come in and out of back then, which was much closer to where I live now. It happened because me and my friends decided it was a good idea to play Uno in the class after finishing the test. I mean, it sounds like y'all just brought that upon yourselves, man. Does the school have a boy or girl scout, something like that? My son's school now? No. If you're referring to the school I went to, also no. It's not a thing in the part of the country that I'm in. I don't think I like from what I know, it's also not a thing in Manila or in Cebu or in like bigger cities in the Philippines. I don't think it's a thing here in the Philippines. Oh, I just thought of something. Hang on. I wonder if have I done Abyss on my Asia account yet? I think only public schools do that. Maybe. Um, when my son started going to school, when he was 3 or 4. Oh, okay. I already did it. Not enough encounter points. It was a time when I had I just so happened to have like consistent contact with some old family friends of my parents, and so I felt, and they had a church, they had a church and a school, it's a very small private school, and I felt kind of embarrassed to say no and like not send my son there, so I decided to like send my son there, and for the most part it was okay. It was good. It was good. Like for the most part it was good. Like, but then again, it was only kindergarten, and unfortunately for my son, like it was pandemic time. It was very much in the middle of pandemic time. So like I didn't really get to experience like what my son's like life would have been like in actual school, because he wasn't actually in school, because like it was like all online school. But that was fine, right? And then once he went to first grade, I decided, you know what, like what's the difference, private school, public school? So I decided to just send my son to public school. and he went to public school in first grade for like a week, and then my my cousin's wife, my cousin-in-law. Oh no, I don't think it was my cousin-in-law. I think it was my aunt actually. I think it was my aunt. Like talked to I think my mom, and my wife overheard them talking, or I think she talked to my wife directly and told my wife like how much the tuition was at the school my son goes to now, and then like we did some quick math, because like the public school that my son went to was not very far. It was still very much walkable distance, but certainly like instead of a 2-minute walk, it was more of a 20-minute walk. So definitely most of the time we would have been like getting on a tricycle, and we did some just some simple math to calculate like how much fare we would be using each month compared to the tuition we would be paying, and like the difference was like negligible. The difference was like barely anything. So and then like I obviously I knew, okay, like in a private school I would have to buy the books. In public school the school just lends you the book, lends you your books, and like it was. And another thing I noticed, we also found out that apparently the curriculum in public schools are, well, they're government mandated, so they're okay, right? They're fine. But in private schools, the curriculum was like really, really advanced. And like for example, especially because this was right as the pandemic, right as kids were coming out of the pandemic. So apparently the government had to adjust school curriculums to account for all the children that were just coming out of kindergarten who didn't know how to write, didn't learn how to write, because all of them, like all their, like for 2 years they were taking either online classes or modules. Like, and when I say modules, I mean like your parents would just go to your school, pick up your homework, pick up your homework, and then like once they come home, they tell you to answer your homework. But because like the kids don't actually know what to do just yet, and the parents just aren't patient enough, or don't have the time, or don't have the time, don't have the patience, or just don't want to bother with like teaching their kids on how to do it. Instead, the parents did their homework and then just take it back to school. So the kids never learned, literally didn't learn how to read, didn't learn how to write. So my son was like in grade 1, knows how to read, knows how to write, learning lines, like learning vertical lines, learning horizontal lines, learning slanted lines, in order to use those lines to write letters. And I was like, oh my god. And my and my the teacher told my wife that apparently, like, okay, because my son already knew how to read and write, and the curriculum was pushed back due to to adjust for the pandemic, that my son was often like doing stuff in 5 minutes, stuff that stuff that they were doing in the class. He would just like do them for like 5 minutes, and the rest of the class, like for the next like 20 minutes, he would just be walking around looking at what others were doing, because he finished them early. And I was like, okay, well, the problem with that is like our son already learned the same stuff that they were going to be learning in grade 1. They already learned them in kindergarten. And my thought process was that, well, the last 2 years would have been a waste, because he spent the last 2 years learning this stuff, and so now he's gonna spend one more year learning the same stuff he already learned. Like, isn't that kind of a waste? Right. So yeah, and that was sort of my thought process. And yeah, and now I do really regret like not sending him directly immediately to the school I went to. But then again, I also understand, like, every time I think back to it, like, why didn't I do it? And like, and then I think back to like my thought process at the time, why not? And it made sense. It made sense. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Theater. Pyro, Hydra, and Cryo. Hey. Alright, well. There's nothing really left for me to do for today. That was a ton of yapping though. But hey, I do appreciate you guys sticking around this whole time and chatting it up, and well, just hanging out. All right, well, that's it for me for today, guys. For those of you who need help building your characters, accounts, or making a decision which banners to pull for, feel free to join our Discord server. Links are in the description of all my videos, VODs, and streams, and in the pinned message in YouTube chat. If you want my personal opinion, you can ping me over there. My name is Elvis Einstein. Of course, you can ask for other people's opinions too. Thank you guys so much for coming by, hanging out, and being awesome people. Have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, and take care, everybody. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.